Yaniv here with Gabay Real Estate Professionals. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to discuss why choose a professional attorney to handle your real estate transaction. Now, a lot of people are telling me that in America, or in certain parts of America, they don't even use an attorney. They don't see an attorney through the process. An agent or a broker prepares the contract for him. Well, here it's different. It's a little bit more complicated, and you really need a professional attorney and not your uncles, sisters, brothers, girlfriends, housekeepers, dogs, uncle that happens to practice divorce law and knows nothing about real estate. You really need somebody that is experienced and knows what they're doing. And for the following reasons. Number one, they need to make sure that your finances are in order. They need to make sure that if you're borrowing money from the bank, that payment schedule coincides with the seller's payment schedule. We get a little bit into what the timetable is for buyers and sellers with them, but the attorney goes into it with a lot more detail, and that's an important aspect right there. Liens. The attorney, obviously, a very, very important aspect is making sure there are no liens, there are no warning notes on the property. There's no cease and desist order. That's important for obvious reasons. Building permit. Is the apartment built according to the building permit? Now, we had an issue with a certain property that it was registered as an apartment. In fact, the seller received a mortgage when he bought the property. So the property was an apartment for all intents and purposes from the seller's perspective and from the bank's perspective. The only thing was when the buyer came, when it came time for the buyer to borrow money, the bank sent an appraiser, and they found in some other building file that the apartment was really a storage room that was never changed over into an apartment. That request was denied. So these are very complicated issues. In this case, the attorney wasn't at fault, but it doesn't make a difference. These are very complicated issues, and you really need a professional to handle the transaction on your behalf. As far as building permits is concerned, it's also important to distinguish whether the apartment now, whether they enclosed a balcony like everybody else in the building and everybody else in any 1970s building in Jerusalem, or they added now 100 meters on account of the common area of the building. So these are important discrepancies, and in a first-hand transaction, it's even more important to really understand what building permit process that contractor is in, so that you know exactly what you're purchasing at the time. Taxes. A good attorney will help you do some tax planning and understand if you're now buying it as an Oleh Hadash or if you're buying it as an Israeli resident, what your status is, and even beyond that, if you're selling now two properties where you take the break on the mas shevach and where you don't take, and whether that's even applicable today. And the attorney really has a lot more experience with the taxes and knows what's going on with the tax status that is relevant today. It is also important as far as taxes to make sure there's no capital gains tax on the property, which you could be left with as a buyer. So that's obviously something that an attorney can look into and find out, and needs to find out on your behalf. Registering the property. We discussed this numerous times. There are many different ways that a property is registered. They could be registered privately through the land registry. It could be registered through the minhal, through a private entity, and leased like in a church lease, or leased in another fashion, and so on and so forth. There's even a term called daf besefer, which is a page in a book translated into English. I mean, it might as well be on like a cocktail napkin. It's unbelievable. So an attorney really needs to see and make sure that the property is registered properly, and register your rights to that property as well. Now, the contractual process, we really don't need to get into that. Obviously, you want an attorney to protect you in any contract, especially one that is as big as purchasing a property here in Israel. Now, for more information on hiring the right attorney, call us. We'll be happy to recommend an attorney for you. 052-614-1442. Feel free to email me at yaniv@gabayrealestate.com. Check out our website for our exclusive listings, www.gabayrealestate.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day.